Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I have a bit of a fun video today, and that is pets that I would love to own, animals that I would love to own. And I'll also be including the animals and pets that I do not want to own at this current point in time. It would be interesting to look back on this video when we do have our own place and property and animals, really just see what actually came into fruition, what I changed my mind on later down the line. And Pazu, of course, is now all revved up and ready to play, so you might see him playing behind me. Before I start this video, I do have a couple announcements. The first one being I have a brand new Instagram account, a personal Instagram account for just posts that wouldn't fit on any of those other accounts. I have a personal space to post my recipes, my meals that I make, music, you know, just all that other stuff that I do. I do have a life outside of my animals, and I kind of wanted a space to share that. I am working on a brand new merch design with my little sister. She does all of my merch designs, and I'm really excited to see what the final product will look like, but keep an eye out for that. Lastly, I am working on the 10th episode of the vlogs. I have been vlogging every single week for a while now, and I have been just really enjoying it. So if you've been missing out on those, I recommend watching them because it has all the behind the scenes, just more of my daily life. Making educational ferret content is really difficult, and I've already covered so many topics. My older videos aren't old enough to justify redoing them or making them better, if you know what I mean. Ferrets are such a niche topic that there really isn't that much to be said. I mean, there's a lot to be said, obviously. I am currently working on my second ferret care book, but over time it just kind of becomes very repetitive. I touch on the major points of free roaming your ferrets, of raw feeding them, having a good diet. These are all things that kind of overlap on each other for various topics, so I feel like kind of a broken record to continuously talk about the same topics over and over again. I just would like to do quality ferret care content rather than just like pumping out random stuff that you guys might not even be interested in. Without further ado, let's get into this video because I have a lot of animals on my list, okay? And I want you to keep in mind that we live in an apartment currently, but we hope to have our own house within the next few years, and I will not be moving to a property that has less than like 10 acres. 5 acres would be my absolute minimum, but I would like to be over 10 acres, and that's very easy to do around here. I live in a very rural farmland area, so it's pretty normal here to have a lot of land. I'm going to be listing off all of these animals, and I don't want people thinking like, how the heck is she gonna pull this off? Because it is normal for the area that I live in. And our goal is to start a homestead. I mean, I do a lot of homestead stuff in the apartment. There are a lot of things that you can do as a homemaker in an apartment, but there's also a lot of things you can't do. So I'm really excited to have land with Brian to start a family and start a bigger animal family too. We have a lot of pretty ambitious plans, but we hope to start the homestead and to be mostly self-sufficient. Okay, let's start with animals that I want. And the first thing is going to be some of the first animals that we actually do get once we move, and that would be more horses. It's just like my childhood dream come true. I mean, I'm already living my childhood dream. I have a horse, a beautiful, handsome, amazing horse, Iro, whom we love very much, but we do board him at a separate facility because we obviously don't have a place to keep him here. And while the place that he's at is very inexpensive, it is much cheaper to actually house your horses at home. Like, Iro is a very easy keeper. He doesn't eat grain, he doesn't need shoes. He pretty much thrives on air, which that's not true, but he lives outside all the time. He doesn't need a stall. So he is like just the perfect horse to be my first horse at home, if that makes sense. But horses are herd animals. He is not herd bound by any means. He actually prefers my company over his horse friends. As you've seen in my videos, he will literally, if he sees me, he'll just start making his way over to the gate, do some training to have some fun with me. He doesn't have issues leaving them at all, but I do want to have companions for him. So I do plan on getting a similar horse to him. He is very low on the totem pole, as they say, so he very easily gets bossed around and bullied. I want to make sure that any horse that I get kind of matches that same energy. So I will likely be sticking to other draft horses or draft cross breeds because I just absolutely adore their temperament, their gentle puppy dog nature, and all they care about is eating food and getting loved on. It's number 2 is a donkey or a mule, leaning towards donkey. I love donkeys. I think they're one of the most adorable animals ever. I really, really like donkeys. I love the sounds that they make. I love their goofy personalities, their size also. They're not too big, they're not too small of an animal. Number 3, really, really big one, and absolute yes, this is gonna happen at some point, would be Jersey cows. I absolutely adore cows and plan on using their milk. There's so much that you can do with milk. Having a steady supply at hand where you know what you're feeding your cow, you know they're being treated, just makes a big difference. And as someone who is a homemaker and makes a lot of meals from scratch, it is very useful to have milk on hand, and a lot of it. Yogurt, ice cream, cream, butter, body care products. There's just like, the list is endless. In order for a cow to produce milk, it does need to have a baby. And I'm not really the type of person, not that that type of person is bad, but I'm not the type to withhold baby from mama or make it so the baby is getting like the absolute bare minimum to live. I'm not all about that. Jersey cows can produce 6 gallons of milk a day, you guys. Like 6 gallons. I'll put like an image up here so you can see visually how much milk that is. That is so much milk. So I have no issue sharing with baby, but at this point in time, I don't plan on having any bulls on the property. I think I'll just go the route of artificial insemination or utilizing local bulls for that, just because cows require a lot of hay, a lot of grass, a lot of food. I would like to keep the amount of cows that I have low, and ideally I would like to keep the cows with the horses. Cows and horses do typically get along really well, especially if your horses have really good temperaments. The only thing is Jersey cows can be really expensive. I do really, really love Highland cattle. I think they are the most like gorgeous breed. They're so pretty, they're so shaggy and fluffy. I love the look to them. They apparently also have really good temperaments, but they do not produce a lot of milk, and for a breed like that, sharing with a baby would be probably pretty difficult. If I did have a Highland cow, it wouldn't be for milk. And full transparency, and if this is something that makes you uncomfortable, you probably shouldn't watch my videos because I feed all my ferrets raw. But as far as butchering goes, I do not plan on butchering my cattle for meat. If they do pass away naturally and they're not sick or anything like that, I would absolutely use their meat to feed my animals. I'm not big on eating beef myself. Papa is in one of his destructive moods, which he gets into coincidentally while I have the camera rolling. He needs to scratch everything, to roll on everything, to push the camera over, to get his face all up in the lens. He's a troublemaker. The next animal on my list is also something that I will be adopting very, very soon after moving, and that is, oh my gosh, look at this guy. But anyways, back on track here. The other animal that I really, really want is ducks. I love ducks. Not only are they a good starter bird, but they're also really good egg layers. Ferrets, again, really love duck eggs, and I actually really like them myself. I'm not positive on like specific duck breeds yet, so if you have any recommendations and you're familiar, please let me know your suggestions down below. I plan on only getting females because they can still have eggs without males. I don't foresee me needing fertilized eggs. I was reading that male ducks can try to mate with chickens and stuff, and that is not something that I want to deal with because apparently they're really aggressive maters. They can be. So I would rather keep all of my animals free from stress as best as possible. And that leads me to my next one. Ow, 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 ow. You just bit me so hard. Please go somewhere else to play. You just did a barrel roll. And that brings me to my next animal, and that is chickens. I am not a huge fan of chickens, I'm going to be completely honest. I would love to have them coexist together with ducks because I heard that they get along just fine. If any of you homesteaders out there, or if you have a farm, please leave me your suggestions below so I can learn more, because there's still a lot that I need to learn about having livestock. I do have another bird species that I want, and that is quail. Now for the quail, we also do use a lot of quail eggs. For the quail, that would be mostly used as meat for my ferrets. If I do get quail, I'll have a separate enclosure for them. Their stress levels remain low, and they are just so small that even like big ducks can step on them and hurt them on accident. The next animal on my list is absolutely happening, and future Bryn, if you're watching this, if you haven't already done this, you need to do this now, and that would be to adopt a couple pigs. I love pigs. I love their personalities, their temperament, their their look, I just think that they are so stinking adorable. And I'm not even just talking about like the potbelly pigs that everyone likes, or the miniature pigs, or teacup pigs, whatever they're called. I'm talking about those big pink horkers. No, I do not plan on butchering pigs. I will not eat my pigs. They're so intelligent, they're very puppy-like. Also good composters if you have leftovers. They're easy to feed. Do poop a lot and are messy like ducks are, but I have been doing a whole lot of research on mud management. It's like a really fascinating topic to me for whatever reason. And I can't wait to begin to implement the things that I've learned about mud management. And I think that that's going to be weird for a lot of people who watch this and who do have their own farm. I think it's very, very typical to raise pigs for meat, but just for me personally, I just want pigs. Okay, the last animal on my list that I would want is a basset hound. And there are a ton of dog breeds that I would like to have, but basset hounds are always what comes to my head first. But after, again, I don't think I can do another big dog breed. My only reservation that I have with a basset hound is I'm not exactly sure if it would be like a great playmate for Gen. I think I might be worried about Gen like accidentally stepping on their back and their spine and all that, but I guess I just have to see him actually interact and play with a basset hound to feel better. Okay, now we move on to animals that I do not want. And this list would be, realistically, a lot longer. This does not contain all of the animals in the whole world that I don't want to have as pets, but these are just what came to mind first. And the first animal on my list, this is gonna make some people very upset, cats. I have never been a huge cat person. I just don't understand the appeal. Obviously, cats are amazing animals. All animals are amazing. Never really found them a good companion for me. It's like a total personal choice. I really dislike the way that cats smell, and I really dislike the smell of litter. Like just normal litter. I don't know. I don't like the whole like litter and litter box thing. I don't really want to have another carnivorous animal to have to raw feed on top of all the animals that I already raw feed, just for financial reasons, not really like the preparation, because cats don't really eat a whole lot of raw food. That being said though, and that kind of goes for all the animals on this list, like the perfect situation arises, I'm not gonna like say no because it's a cat, you know? And that's me saying that now. Future Bryn might have something totally different that she thinks. Number 2 is pet birds. I'm not a huge fan of birds like in the house. I think those sounds over time would really irritate me. And the smell of them, the smell of their poo, and like cleaning up after them, I know that they can be kind of messy. And then also having them around my free roaming ferrets and my dog might not be a great decision. Number 3 is a really difficult one for me to have on this list because growing up, I always wanted these, but reading what everyone is saying, like I've been reading a lot of homestead blogs, and everyone seems to diss on goats. I love goats. I think they're silly. I think they have great personalities. I think they're the cutest, and I have many goats in my life that I've really loved. Sounds like raising them can be quite a nightmare, just figuring out how to keep them in an enclosed area. So I'm unsure if I want goats anytime soon, because I don't know how I would handle or process if like one of my goats got out or something and I couldn't find them, or they got hurt or injured. I would never be able to forgive myself. So I mean, I guess we'll see what my setup is going to be like, and if I do have like a really good fencing and a really good area that I could have goats, then maybe that would change. Number 4, sheep and llamas. And I'm actually coincidentally wearing my sheep sweater right now, and I'm just grouping them together because they're kind of similar, and same with alpacas in a way. They're just animals that I have never really been interested in raising myself personally. As of right now, I don't plan on having them. I think that it would just kind of be more animals that would be grazing on my pastures, and something that I have to take into account. Number 5, and I could probably go on with the amount of dog breeds that I would never want to have, but at the top of the list would be like smooshy faced dog breeds, you know, the Boston Terriers, the pugs, bulldogs. I can't do with dogs that like are just audibly just breathing all the time, like really loudly. All of them that I met through my workplaces, and I met so many of them, I didn't really like any of them. I mean, when I say that, I like all dogs, obviously, but I wouldn't personally want that dog in my house. There was one dog that really turned me off specifically, and she was a French bulldog puppy, and oh my god, that dog, the sounds that that dog made were just like out of this world. So annoying, just like over anything. If she was happy, if she was sad, if she was mad, she would screech. I remember I would like have her up at my desk with me, and she would continuously, I mean, she was like I don't even know if she was a puppy at this point. She would pee all over, and then since she's so small, she would just like get it all over her belly and her paws before I could even clean it up, and then start jumping on me and screeching all at the same time. That was just, that kind of turned me off. The other breed grouping that I really dislike, and I am very open on my dislike, is the doodle breeds: golden doodles, labradoodles, sheepadoodles, Aussie doodles. I've met all of them. I've met hundreds of these dogs, and I don't understand the appeal. I don't like their temperament, and I know a lot of people will say, you know, I have a golden doodle and she's the best dog ever. That is great. However, all the ones that I would meet were like so hyperactive. And the last animal on my list is guinea pigs. Guinea pigs, there's the sounds that they make are like, it gives me a headache. It's like nails on a chalkboard, those sounds that they make. I mean, it's kind of cute. Ooh. And the fact that they like poop and it just looks like the chocolate Pez on the ground. I don't know. The only thing that I do like though about guinea pigs is giving them greens, like cutting up their vegetables. Obviously that's something that I really love to do. Feeding fresh foods, awesome. So I would enjoy that aspect of having guinea pigs. So I hope you found this kind of interesting. If you have any suggestions for me on any of the animals listed in this video, feel free to leave it below. Any specific breeds of duck that you really like, or breeds of pig that you like. Any recommendations as far as housing them. I mean, I have a lot of time before I start planning out my actual homestead. Thank you to all of the channel members who continue to support this channel every single month. Really appreciate it. I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.